Hello, Billy Rainford here from Direct Motocross along with Greg Poisson. We're here to do a little post-race wrap-up here. It was round 3 of the Rockstar Triple Crown Supercross series at Gopher Dunes. Greg, we were back. It was surprisingly late September, southwestern Ontario. It was hot, sunny. It was kind of a perfect midsummer day.
It's a great day today. It was beautiful. Loved it.
Oh, sorry. Thanks, Cotton. All right, no, it's okay. So, hey, by the way, brought to you by Sneaky Weasel. Cheers, Greg. We pardon me. You got a drink after. Cheers. But the way things are going, by the time this racing was done, by the time we went around and did some interviews and things like that, well, Greg went and did some interviews, it was dark. So we decided to wait until we got home, have a nice little fireside chat here. So we're going to talk about it. Again, I'm afraid there's a lot to talk about in certain areas, as in injuries, unfortunately.
Yep.
Heading into this round 3, we only got one round left, and that's tomorrow. Heading into this one, we are missing a Moto winner, Jair Mitchell, in the 250 class. He took that crash last week in the whoops, went down. Turns out, I thought it would have been his chest that was sore, because that's what all the attention was after the crash, was kind of upper body. But it turns out it's like his hand or his kind of wrist area, so that's why he was there today. It was good to see him there, but he's unable to race. So unfortunately, he was out in the 250 class.
Yep.
Anything else before we dive into the 250s?
No. I mean, obviously Jess isn't there, but nothing new.
Right. In addition to it, we did have Casey Keese sat out last week, give that knee a little extra time off. He was back and looked great. He actually qualified 3rd today, so he was on it. He said he wasn't feeling great, I don't think, but he ended up going really fast. So that was kind of...
he was going quick. We'll get into it a little bit later, but just seemed to be some bad luck, and he was out for a little bit. He'd been sitting since the last national, so he looked good, but we'll get into that in a minute, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And for obvious the ride number of riders was down. There were only 12 in the 250s and 13 in the 450 class. So for free practice today, there were no B practices, so everybody was together. In the 450 class, only one person didn't qualify. Eric Schilt, you got the Lanterne Rouge on that one, I guess, there, buddy. But anyway, he was sore from last week anyway, so he was already kind of nursing. He came up short on something, short or long, I'm not sure. He OJ'd or underJ'd something, and his ankle was pretty sore. So may have been a blessing in disguise that he wasn't able to line up and get out there. So Anyway, let's talk about the 250 class. We'll kind of go over the top 10. 12th and 11th was Keenan Peterson and Jamie Powell, but in 10th place we mentioned qualified 3rd was Casey Keese, so it was good to have him out there back again.
Yep.
Looked good. What did you think on him? You kind of mentioned it a bit.
Yeah, Casey looked good. He had a few little tip overs in the motos. I saw the first one. They kind of overwatered that double or triple single after the finish line, and it was right into a flat corner, and he was kind of flat tracking around it and looking really good. And then I think he fell over twice there. I definitely saw it once. I think it was twice though, because I did see him kind of have a bobble later on too. So just little tip overs that he was just getting back into it.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, in the first moto, that first turn, it was, I think originally they were going to have him go straight up and turn right, and there was I was talking to Chad Goodwin from the Kawasaki team there, and he certainly expressed his concerns because it was a long straight and then into a right. That obviously would have caused some other problems. So they did change it. The amateurs were doing that, but they were going down and they made it to a very sharp 180. It claimed in the first 250 moto, it claimed Jeremy Mckay, Marco Canella, Keenan Peterson, Krista Silva, and Casey Keese that we were just talking about. So it got them. So that was a tough battle. Marco actually came back quite well, but so also the other guys. But so it made it tough for a lot of the guys, and the guys out front kind of got away on them. But ahead of him, we had number 9 in 9th place. 11.5 was Krista Silva. Again, mentioned he was down in that first turn. Yeah. He looked pretty good though.
He did look good. Yeah, he looked pretty solid. I mean, in Quebec they do have a strong indoor series too, so I think these races kind of suit him, more technical styles. So it was good, but it's when you go down the first corner, you're playing catch up, and there's 30 second lap times. Races aren't exactly very long, so didn't have an opportunity to really come back through.
Yeah, and in the second moto, he was in a really good battle. At first, it was with Jeremy Mckay was in it, and it was Quinn Amiot, Tyler Gibbs, and Krista Silva. So that was a fun battle to watch there for the 4 guys kind of going at it. But good for him getting the first moto. The 11th place there off of the bad start. So that was tough. But 11.5, he was really happy getting that top 5. I saw him briefly afterwards. He was pretty pumped on that 5th place in that second moto. So
as he should be. He
said he knew he could get a top 5, so he did it there. So let's see if he can put 2 together tomorrow. Tyler Gibbs was in 8th. He's 8.7 for 8th place.
Consistent. Yeah, I know he seemed. He is a Yamaha guy normally. He's been on the Honda now for I think just over 2 weeks or so, give or take. So I'm sure he's still getting used to it. Didn't get great starts, and but I think that's what made it a little bit more difficult, especially on today's track. Very technical track today as opposed to last week. A lot slower. That was the plan, and talking to the Jetworks crew. So I definitely think they succeeded in that. Really quite technical, a bit longer too. They added a few sections behind the start line.
The layout was, I thought the layout was, just so you didn't, in case you didn't know, they actually did it reverse and built up the whoops. So there was it was a 9 set of whoops again, very firm and rounded a bit more and bigger. So not many guys were skimming them. I don't think anybody did in the 250s.
No, I thought that was the rhythm section, to be honest with you. It was huge.
I thought it was a single.
That's
section.
what I would have done.
But I thought maybe Marshall Welton would try to get up on top of them. He didn't, but he took the wins. But anyway, went backwards. Track was great. We had a legit Supercross track going there. I thought it looked fantastic.
It was pretty cool. I walked in today and I thought, like, hey, they've done a real good job with this, and dirt looked good, a little bit more moisture in it than last week. So I think maybe the weather helped a bit too. But it was definitely a pretty cool setup.
Yeah, and now we got the next guys ahead here. I guess we'll talk about because the 3 guys were under. Tyler Gibbs had the chance to pit underneath the GDR tent this week too, so that was kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool.
And he will get it again tomorrow because he's probably going to be the only guy in there. We'll get to that story here in a second. Unfortunately, the one rider that finished ahead of him on that team, we got Ryder McNabb. He went 6'8". Troubles for riding. I thought he looked really good riding. He looked like he had the pace this week.
Yeah.
But he's nursing his pit. All 3 GDR guys kind of got, not including Tyler Gibbs, got kind of hurt today. Ryder was nursing something going in. He's got like an upper back rib kind of thing going on, and it looks like he's going to be out. So he still managed to go 6'8" for 7th. But bad news for Ryder McNabb out of Manitoba. Yeah. Anything you noticed on him riding? Just
pretty silent today. Like, it wasn't really a big mover or shaker at all. He kind of. Wasn't making a ton of passes, wasn't really moving forward, wasn't moving backwards. He kind of stayed where he started, and didn't get great starts either. But like I said, he kind of stayed there right in the middle of the pack. There only being 12 guys, so going 6'8", that's pretty much right in the middle. Okay,
and his teammate finished just ahead of him. Story on him looked great. I'm talking about Tanner Ward, number 18. He ended up 6th overall with the 212. That 12 is a DNF. He and Marshall Welton just went at it in the first moto. I mean, he was pressuring him. Looked great. We didn't at first. The first in practice and qualifying, I guess. Actually, we got James Lissamore back. He's back there in the green room enjoying some gummy bears and stuff back there. But he mentioned that I guess Tanner's knee had actually locked up. He's got some bone chips or something like that in there. So he went and got that looked at, all sorted out, and looked like a new guy out there in that first moto. Looked fantastic.
Yeah, better than he has all Supercross season.
For sure.
Great, and he was.
Fox gear looked good too.
Yeah, I did say that. I did say those guys looked awesome. So shout out to Fox Racing Canada. But he looked really good, and one of the guys that could really pressure Marshall, and it just didn't, he couldn't get the pass done and the win, but he was definitely up there. Looked really solid.
One thing about Tanner, he's currently going viral.
Yes, right now.
I just heard a ding back there. I think James was getting more notifications. James, of course, caught the sequence of poor Tanner coming through that rhythm section. I was actually talking to Guillaume St. Cyr. He was kind of explaining maybe what might have happened. The one line kind of got more of the lip was down, so it ended up being more of a ski jump. So I don't know if Tanner was able to quite elevate like he was usually doing in that 3-3-3 section. Ended up clipping, going over the bars, and just sailing through the air. Landed hard on his back. He is currently in the Woodstock Hospital trying to get through emerge to have his back looked at, his lower back. I mean, he got up right away. Adrenaline probably got him off there, but
he did walk off, so that
he
was
walked off.
That was huge.
Yeah. So, but it was tough to watch because it was a hard hit. He flew over. Kind of reminded me of who was it that did that in Supercross last year? That just flew through there. Oh, it was Cooper Webb. Kind of along those lines. Kind of flew up and just landed solid on his back.
Yep.
Got up and walked off, and then anyway. So hope Tanner's feeling all right. But we did speak with Derek Schuster, and both Ryder McNabb and Tanner are out for tomorrow. So tough break there. Ahead of them, 21 Quinn Amiot went 5'6" for 5th overall.
Yeah, so Quinn was I'd say the overall the fastest of the guys that wasn't nailing that triple in the rhythm section. So in speaking with Quinn, throughout the day, he really wanted to do it. Wasn't really comfortable in pulling that off, but that was kind of key to his race, is that he needed to do that, to especially that third triple, because I know Jeremy Mckay and Guillaume St. Cyr caught and passed him in that section. So Quinn knows what he needs to do to get better for tomorrow, and I know first practice he definitely wants to nail that down. So
he's mentioned that he wants to go. He's gonna
give him a couple tips. You know how it is, and then so we're working on it together. Yeah.
The long lineup of guys just asking you for tips on the
Blue Crew now.
How to get through these sections.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
All right, yeah, so 5-6 for fifth for him. Then we just mentioned Jeremy Mckay. Jeremy, I mean, he had a hard time getting around Quinn in that. Was it the second moto?
That was an awesome battle.
It was a great battle. Once Jeremy got by Quinn, he did kind of leave him, and I think Jeremy belongs up in that next group. If he can get a good start, I think he's due. He's got one day left to do it, but I think he belongs in that group ahead of him.
Yeah, he was one of the guys, like I said, doing that triple section, and looked really good. Him and Quinn had probably one of the better battles I've seen all day. Looked really good, and like I said, once he get by Quinn, he was able to keep nailing that section and kind of gap him a little bit. So, with a good start, he might be a podium guy. Yeah,
like he was, like I mentioned earlier, he was in that first turn pileup, so that's what explains his 7th in the first, and then the 4th. So he just missed that podium as he was closing in there in that second moto. So good for him for 4th place. Making the podium, we got consistent 3-3 Marco Canella. Marco was down in that first turn crash, came back to 3rd. So I mean, that's a good ride.
Yeah, he was super solid. He was actually in the first moto, he was running faster lap times than both Tanner and Marshall by the end of it. So he was gaining on them pretty hard. Just obviously ran out of time. But, Marco, I think he's definitely fired up for tomorrow. He told me, he's like, I haven't got to win all year. I'm leaving it all on the track tomorrow. So you can see that on the Instagram page. I would fully expect him to grab a win tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. And I hope I didn't put the whammy on him, but literally 30 seconds before the starter, I said, "Come on, let's see a start here, Marco, this time." And of course, he went out there and got caught up in that first turn pileup. So,
way to go!
I don't believe in that stuff. I just like joking about it. All right, yeah. So he's got one more chance to get up there to get that win. So see if he can do it. Guillaume Saint Cyr. I mean, let's give this kid the MVP of the round for sure.
Yeah.
4-2. Grabbed the second moto hole shot. I mean, he put in lots of time at the at Vision Built. Was doing some. Working hard. The kid's good at the indoors. Good, likes the Supercross. 4-2, second overall. Tied with Marco for second. But obviously the 2 in the second one gets in the nod.
Yeah. Saint Cyr was one of the only guys that was really making passes happen, which was kind of neat. You and I both saw him make that pass on Quinn right before the whoops. He's tried it a couple times and then couldn't really do it. Finally, just grabbed a handful and basically put him up in the top of the berm. It was a great pass, nothing wrong with that. And he was one of the guys actually making things happen as opposed to just waiting for it to happen. So definitely earned it, and congrats on that second moto. He was leading for majority of the moto.
He did for sure. Yeah, that was the majority. He said he kind of got caught out with some, I think, lappers in that triple section. Yep. 2 laps in a row and wasn't able to do it. Next thing you know, Marshall Welton was right on his rear door. So that was tough. But I mean, that's a great ride for him, and he's pretty happy about
pumped.
that.
Yeah, he was super pumped.
Yeah, it was great. It was great to see that. I think also it was in furry practice. I think he may have been first. I know it was only him and I think Marshall Welton that were doing that triple section in free practice earlier. So, like I say, the kid's got indoor talent, so that was good. Good to see. And going 1-1 again. So this guy, he's got all 3 rounds overall. So we got Marshall Welton.
Yep.
Pulled the first moto hole shot, and then Cotton made that pass in that second one. So what can you say about Marshall Welton?
Class of the field, I'd say he did really well and looked super solid. He was doing all the technical stuff and trying all the different lines. I know after the finish line there's that triple single. He was doing it every lap, and he was doing something a little bit different. So he would it was kind of a tricky section, especially when it was a little bit wet. He'd kind of just clip the top of the triple to kind of help slow him down a little bit to get the line perfect every time. But he did it with precision, so it was really neat to see, and that's that U.S. experience. I don't know if he's done a ton of Supercross, but I know he's probably spent a lot of time at Supercross tracks, at Club MX and whatnot. So definitely showed today.
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, he's shown that he's the guy to beat. I mean, I don't know if it's the experience or whatever, but he's just ending up on top. But Tanner and Marco have just been clawing at him, and but he just seems to be doing well. And obviously, did we mention? Yeah, we mentioned Tanner's not going to be in there tomorrow. So
so maybe Marco be in there again.
Could be. Yeah, it could be. It should be the Marshall Welton, Guillaume, and Marco tomorrow up in the top 3 with maybe Jeremy Mckay sneaking in there. We'll have to wait and see. But now in the points, so we've got one round left of Supercross left and 1 round left of the whole Triple Crown series. The points right now, so it's Marshall Welton leads. Marco Canella is second, but he's 21 points back, so a lot of ground to make up. That would be something there. But Tanner Ward is 30 points back, so he's 9 points back of Marco, so he's not there tomorrow. So likely with Guillaume Saint Cyr only being 9 points behind Tanner in third, looks like Guillaume Saint Cyr is sitting pretty good for grabbing that overall podium spot in the Supercross in 250. So
yeah, good for him, and it's a bummer for Tanner, and hopefully we'll hear from him soon. I know we've been texting him a little bit tonight, just hoping he's good, and that's nothing, long term, and he'll be back.
All right. So we're going to break this up into two, but you know what? Let's just keep it rolling right over. I mean, we got the shirts on.
I'm not taking it off.
Unless you write in right now and want Greg to take his shirt off, we'll wait. I'm not going to come.
Crickets.
Okay.
Absolute crickets.
Okay, crickets. All right, move on to the 450 class. Again, 450, we only have one guy not make it in, so we had 12 riders. 12 riders, of course, in the main events, 2 main events. 12th was Cody Mckay, 11th was Damon Luxus, 11-11 and 12-12. Breaking into the top 10, so we got Dario Zecca, so 10-9 for 10th place. What do you think of Dario? I mean, the kid just loves to ride. I went over and kind of spent, a few minutes. I even got a tour of their
Cube van?
The Cube van.
Yeah, the Cube van.
Got that thing set up pretty nicely.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I know I used to actually go to his dad's camps when I was a kid.
In Perry Sound?
Yeah, on 60s and stuff, and I've known Lino for a really long time. Good kid. He's really polite, really nice, and you can't help but cheer for him. He's a hard racer, and he doesn't. He's always going forward. He's always trying to keep going forward, and I think that's something that you got to commend him for. Doesn't give up, and I think he just needs to be sometimes a bit more aware of what's going on around him. But other than that, he's doing great. So good for him.
Yeah, I was talking with him about that actually. He mentioned he was trying to get out of the way, and next thing you know, they come in there so quick, and you're trying to you think you're out of the way, and then they're dicing. So he's trying anyway. So
there's lots happening out there, and it's a tight track. So
I just think it's cool to see someone who just loves riding as much as he does. You know what I mean? Like he knows he's not going to win, but he's probably had more fun out there than anybody.
He's always smiling. He's always smiling. So that's good for him for sure.
Okay, if you're out there, what kind of teacher is he? If anyone has him, is he actually teaching? I know he's a teacher, but is he actually have a class?
Like school teacher?
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
Good for him.
All right. Okay. So right ahead of him, in a place where he shouldn't be, you actually spoke with him afterwards. I got Keelan Messon, number 10, went 7-10. He was down in the first turn in the first moto. Had a couple, or at least one crash in the second moto. Went over the bars pretty hard, I think.
Yeah, Keelan, being as tall as he is, I thought he'd do a little bit better in the whoops, and he says he's kind of getting dialed in by the end of the day. These whoops were huge. Not something we ever see.
He was one of the few guys trying to skim them, though.
Yeah, and he was skimming them.
Yeah.
Trying his best, but yeah, he had a few crashes. He did go down in the first corner, the first main event. So, he didn't change his gear or anything, so you could see he was all muddy down the one side. But yeah, he was, not really a usual spot for him, and I think he just, like he said in his interview, he just kind of got used the word discombobulated. And,
he likes that word.
That's a word for him. That's definitely more unique to him. But yeah, he's happy to move on, and he'll be fine tomorrow.
All right, and then Mr. Consistent, 9-8. I got Tommy Delaire, finished 8th overall. Just a consistent ride from Tommy. Nice, likable guy, nice kid. He was actually kind of really. Guillaume, actually, we mentioned in the 250s. Guillaume was here by himself this weekend, so Tommy was there, helped him out at the starting line. Was cheering. I hopefully have some great shots of Tommy cheering Guillaume on when they were coming when he was leading. So that was pretty good. Yeah,
I know Tommy was. And this is not a dig, but he was pretty silent out there. Just putting in his time and getting the laps done. He got great style. He's always throwing some big whips when he can and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. I think that's where he kind of belongs at the moment, but he can always improve, and we'll see how that works. Maybe a good start, get him a little bit further up there.
Yeah, there's a couple guys like that. I mean, Tommy kind of ends up kind of in no man's land because he's faster than the guys behind him, and just a little bit behind the guys that are ahead of him. Same thing goes with who finished right ahead. Ryan Derry looked really good. I mean, I was standing with his dad, Peter Derry, there during qualifying, and his dad was trying to get him to do certain sections, trying to get him to that triple, which he did. Trying to get him to do the triple after the finish line, which he ended up doing too. So, sorry, go ahead.
I will say Ryan was completely different rider than last weekend. 100%. He was a complete 180, and he was nailing that triple, and he looked really good. I think it was the second main event. He got a really good start. It might have been the first one. Let's have a look at the results.
8-7?
Yeah, so it was either one. I can't really remember. I apologize, Ryan. But he got a really good start, and he stayed up there for a few laps, like a number of laps. And I said, hey, this is exactly what he needs, and he's just going to get better. And yeah, he looked really good and was getting all the sections down that, that I didn't see a lot of other guys doing. So definitely the guys behind him anyways.
Well, that's the thing. He ended up by himself because he's got the other guys covered, but it's the guys that get that next step, which he seemed to have made a little bit of a step towards them today. So that was good to see.
Yeah, good for him.
Impressive.
Yeah, kudos to Ryan for sure.
Yeah. And ahead of him, we got the 208 of Logan Leitzel, the American out of Pennsylvania, went 6-6. how did he end up? He kind of ended up by himself, I think, too, maybe.
Yeah, I didn't really see him battling with anyone or doing much of anything. He was out there and I apologize for this, but he was pretty silent. Like, he was just a guy that was just out there putting in the time, and the results are nothing to be bummed about. But he's doing a great job on those Yamahas. I know he's on a Husky before, so it's still probably getting used to it. Not spending a lot of time on that bike, and they are very, very different. So
yeah, he's still a young kid. He's got a great opportunity on the Rockstar OTSFF Yamaha team with the Twirly Designs gear and stuff. So great opportunity. He's making the most of it. He's out there. I thought he would have tried to skim the whoops. I didn't see him try to skim, because he's a tall kid too. He's got to be 6'2" kind of thing.
Yeah, and he does have a Supercross license, doesn't he?
Yeah,
so I'm sure he spent a lot of time on pretty gnarly whoops. Yeah, I didn't see him do it once, so maybe he just wasn't feeling it, and decided, hey, we got tomorrow too. So. And
if he did, he's going to come up and yell at us tomorrow if somebody points that out that we mentioned that.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm going to say Greg said he didn't do them.
All right.
Okay, now let's talk about the 450 rider on that GDR Fox Honda team, Dylan Wright. Boy, he scored as a 4.5 for 5th overall, but that doesn't tell the whole story, because Dylan is out.
Dylan is out. Yeah, Dylan. I don't know what happened that second moto. I was watching from the grassy knoll with Kibby, actually. Tyler is a mechanic, and we were watching that, and neither of us saw what happened. All of a sudden, he fell back a few spots. I think it might have happened before the finish line.
Yeah, it did.
And I don't know. He didn't. I don't think he crashed though. Did he? I think he just. What happened?
I think he did crash. Okay. I didn't see it. I was out of it too. All of a sudden, he came around just favoring that right leg, holding it up, and he did finish though. He finished 5th, and he managed to kind of roll through the whoops, standing on both pegs. But then, as soon as the checkered flag went, he was favoring that right leg. And I know he's also in the Woodstock Hospital. We were trying to get him into London at university. We were trying to pull some strings, but get him. But I think they're getting looked at in Woodstock.
You know someone?
I know someone. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Know someone that knows someone.
Yeah.
It's all about who you know.
That's right. But anyway. I hope I'm not saying something I'm not supposed to, but Derek did say that they hope it's not very bad anyway, but they're hoping Dylan's going to, if he can get across the border, I guess you can as a pro, do the last 2 American Nationals.
No way.
Yeah, so that's what they're hoping to do. So Dylan, let's all cross our fingers that his knees just kind of a little bit stretched and didn't pull his MCL. They're talking MCL is what they're guessing, but we don't know, obviously.
Yeah, I know when he got off the bike, I watched him when he got back to the truck. He had to hop on one foot. Somebody had to help him into the truck. Like, he couldn't put any pressure down. So yeah, hopefully he's doing okay. And Dylan looked great. Like, he didn't get a great start either time. Wasn't blitzing the whoops or anything, but he looked good in the rhythms. And he's getting the Supercross thing figured out. I mean, he did well last weekend. He was definitely a factor too for the most part. But I just hopefully he's good, and we'll see him at those last rounds. I was hoping he'd do something like that. Yeah,
for sure. So hopefully it works out. So hopefully the news is good. We'll know more when we speak to Derek and the team a bit later when we get a chance to. Leading both motos for a time, we got number 3, Sean Moffenbauer, 5.4 for 4th overall.
Yeah, friend of the show, as I like to call him.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, Sean Moffenbauer. Great starts. Was killing it. Was definitely a factor up front. Kind of settled in by the end. Wasn't really pushing it too hard, and those guys kind of got away from him. But he looked great. Looked solid. Looked good in the rhythm sections. Looked good in the whoops. Wasn't blitzing him either, but I mean, there was only 2 people that were doing it, or at any point. I think he looked great. He's kind of like the best of the rest, we'll call it. Yeah,
for sure. And I know Sean's better half, Robin, their family lives just outside of London here, and with James, we went for a cycle early this week. I couldn't go very long because do you believe my head was swollen from? We were riding at that Yamaha 2021 Yamaha Media Day, and sticking my glasses in the goggles and the helmet. My head was so swollen, I had a headache the next day. So anyway, I cut my bike short, but I did ride with him long enough to find out that he's used to riding Supercross on a 250. He said the 450 is just not all that comfortable on the tight tracks and the stuff yet. And he did really want to point out that he has a ton of respect for those guys. Certainly anybody going faster than him on a 450 on these tight tracks.
Yeah, Sean's a great guy like that. He's a guy that will give kudos where it's needed, and that's why he is a friend of the show.
Friend of the show, yeah. And ahead of him, man, great night for, I guess it's day. You want to say night because it's Supercross. But Josh Cartwright led the first moto, got the whole shot, went 3-3. Well, I think he was the first guy to skim the whoops.
Yeah, I think he was too. I heard that he was, and he looked great. So something that Josh was doing, and we'll talk about Matt in a second, but Matt was doing the same thing. They'd land off the finish line, triple, single, and where everyone else was downshifting, they would shift up. I watched him do it every lap, shift up one, so I'm assuming either second
because they were going to the outside to take a run.
Exactly. So either second to third or third to fourth. I'm not sure what that was. but they would do that because you want to lug the bike through those whoops to get up on top.
Right.
And I watched them do it like clockwork.
Right, so they didn't want to be shifting into them. They wanted to already be up that gear in that corner.
Yeah, so I watched him do it every lap. And
Supercross experience, man. That's cool.
It was cool to see, and he did it every lap, and looked really, really good.
He's just trying to get good mileage, save Julian some money. Some gas mileage.
You got to do it. It's the end of the season, right? We're scraping the bottom of the barrel, some of the guys, so it's all good.
No, he looked great out there. He had a blast out there, running up front with those guys.
Yep.
He also vision built by Putnam, Ontario. He was there putting in the time on the whoops. There's a kind of what you call a smaller whoop section and a bigger one that was a lot like, kind of exactly like what they did today at Gopher Dunes. So he was the only guy I saw at Vision Build doing that. So to come to that, he was probably pretty comfortable. Just kind of sent it on the one of the first few laps.
Yeah, no, he looked great. And you know what I liked about Josh is that he was just so genuinely excited afterwards to do that. It's good to see that. He's not a guy that's bummed down to getting third or not winning. He was really, really happy, and it's great to see. So good for him.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see how he does tomorrow as well. So that'll be good. And then finishing second overall, we got Cole Thompson. Went 1-2, split tied for first, 2-1 and a 1-2 situation here. Cole Thompson, yeah. But let's talk about Cole. We were all surprised that he wasn't skimming the whoops. Turns out he's nursing a sore shoulder. His right shoulder is not where it should be. Well, it's where it should be, but it's not.
Yeah, no, it's not 100%. I didn't know that until today, so we weren't told. It wasn't skimming the whoops. But the thing about Cole, and maybe we can talk about Cole and Matt too a little bit at the same time, because
sure.
Matt won 2-1. The differences were very subtle between the two, but Matt was blitzing the whoops, and I think Cole was a little bit faster than the rest of the track. He was doing
then the whoops, and then he'd close in, and the whoops. And then
Cole was very good at just staying a little bit lower in the corners as well as over the jumps, and those were milliseconds around the rest of the track that he was gaining on Matt. And he's also doing around the behind the finish line. There was a kind of a triple. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
That Cole would go outside and triple the whole thing, where Matt was going single double, and was definitely way faster. So Cole, he's a tactician. I'll call him that. He's very good technically, and I think the whoops hurt him for sure. I know he's probably he's capable of doing it, but
but any other if he was 100%, obviously,
of course. So, then the shoulder was just bumming him out, and but he like about Cole is that he went for some spots and went to try to get the win. He's a racer, and he wants to win. So,
well, you knew it was coming. The only place, like you just mentioned, is that Gurkey, Matt was blitzing the whoops and blitzing them faster than anybody. So Cole at the lead
holes in him almost. He's hit him so hard.
Oh yeah. So at the lead into it, so Cole, all he could try to do is, because he knew that was where Matt was going to pull away. So every lap he would close in, and in the left hand beforehand, he would try to block Matt from being able to do it. It's a racer. What are you going to do? Of course you got to try it.
Yep.
And the one time you went in, and I've got the photos of it, of course, because I knew it was coming every lap he was trying. Finally came in, and there was some contact, and then it got a little weird in the whoops because Matt started looking over his shoulder. He started waiting for him, and that's when they lapped. I want to say that might have been when they lapped Dario, because Dario was like, "Go ahead, guys," and then they were playing cat and mouse with each other.
Yeah.
And so then the lappers get in the way, and he's kind of like, "What are you guys doing?" And so things got a little weird. They're a little heated.
Yeah, no, it did, and actually that was the time I was sitting up there with Kibby watching it, and we were concerned that maybe Matt had bent or broken his shifter, because that seemed to be the spot where
he said his leg hurt.
Yeah, no, he got hit. So, but that's racing, and Matt was a little bit bummed out about it, but that's racing at the end of the day, and I applaud Cole for going for it, and Matt was the king of the whoops all day. Nobody hitting him faster or harder than him every lap without fail. Unless somebody was in the way or something like that, but he did it. I'd say 95% of the time, did great, and it was good to see. He was really genuinely excited that he got that win, and he is retiring, so it's good to kind of end it.
One more round left for Matt.
One more round, yeah, that's it. And Matt's been around. He's been a staple in the Canadian circuit for years, and it's going to be a bummer to see him go. But I'd like to see him maybe get another win to cap it off.
Yeah, do you think Cole will let him?
I don't think he'll ever let anybody win.
So. Of course not. And you know that Matt was down in the first turn in the first moto, came back to second.
He was, yeah. Keelan and him got together, and he came back to second. So there you go, and that's how he got the overall 2-1.
Yeah, it was impressive that he came all the way back to second place in that first one.
He was. He's another guy too who's doing that triple section, and So the difference between Cole and Matt is definitely noticeable on the track. So Cole definitely flows, takes different lines, lower lines in the corners, and over the jumps, his trajectory is much lower too. Whereas Matt is a bit more. He rides higher in the berms, and he's kind of but he hits everything way harder. I find he's kind of popping up a bit higher, and that's just something I've noticed. I know talking with other people too. It's something that's it's milliseconds around the track, so it's. I think that's where Matt would make it up on the whoops because he was by far the fastest guy through the whoops all day. But then Cole would kind of make it up through the rest of the track, and Cole's got the technical skill as well as does Matt. But I think it's just kind of new school versus a bit old school maybe, and it was good to watch that race. That was an excellent race for the second moto.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow. Probably going to be some fireworks. There always seem to be some fireworks. That's always another reason to show up or to tune in on the Two Wheels TV app if you're not able to be at the track, which of course you're probably not because the way things are going for sure. And
yep.
But let's look at the points. We've got one round left, right? One round left, but two motos. So we've got still some points on the table. Cole Thompson has a 12-point lead over Matt Gurkey.
Yes.
Right. So
still there. I mean, chances are Cole's not going to slip up, but a mechanical of some sort or something. Who knows? An unforeseen mechanical. It's not.
It's still mathematically possible.
It's still the new math, as they call it. It's still there.
One, I don't know what to do. It's long division.
3.14 repeating, of course.
Right, and then in third place right now, Dylan Wright. Of course, he's out. He was 20 points back out of first place.
Yep.
And it looks like he had just an 11-point lead over Josh Cartwright in fourth. So basically, Josh has to just grab a few points. 2 motos left. He's going to end up on the podium.
Yeah, and he looks solid today. So I think he'll be a podium guy, and he'll hopefully be on the podium at the end of the whole thing. So that's cool. And then we have Moff in fifth. So I think Moff he's a few back. He's a 22 behind Dylan. We know Dylan's not going to be there, so I could see him. He could probably get fourth. Let's see. We'll see how it goes tomorrow because there is two rounds up.
Right, so he's got to make up the stagger from that. Yeah, so he's got some work to do, but it's possible again. So
yep.
nothing is over yet. But yeah, so again, we hope everybody that got hurt is doing as good as can be. We'll like I say, we'll update you guys on how everybody's condition is when we know more. Of course, we don't want to be guessing, as we're not really guessing, but obviously we don't know the extent. We're speculating. We're making educated interpolating. I'm not sure.
Using a lot of big words.
Yeah, one of those. We're doing one of those or several of them. But yeah, so hey, we'll be back tomorrow. Thanks again to Sneaky Weasel. And Greg, thank you very much to you. And I hope if you guys had a chance to check out the interviews that Greg did, went around and talked to a few of the riders. So be sure to check that out. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, whatever you kids are doing.
Well, like, subscribe, and
subscribe.
Share, like they say. So.
Just kidding. And yeah, the ingredients and the directions are in the in the comments section. So if you're looking for the ingredients. Okay. Hey, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks.